First of all, a very good evening to one and all present here, and a very good evening to you as well, ma'am. I'm Professor Sandeep Bansali from the team GIBS Business School, Bangalore. So today we all are connected as a part of GIBS IRE Talks, which this forum brings together the most inspirational speakers on innovation, research, and technology. And today's IRE topic is on mindfulness and productivity. And the keynote speaker for this evening is Ms. Paulami Niyogi, the life coach, motivational speaker. Thank you so much, ma'am, for accepting our invitation and sparing your time with us to share your knowledge. And I also welcome all the participants who've joined us to GIBS IRE Talks on behalf of GIBS Business School family. Please allow me to share a few words before we begin about GIBS. GIBS Business School Bangalore is a place where talents are nurtured, ambition cherished, ideas shared, and dreams fulfilled. GIBS Business School Bangalore is a part of Global Institute of Business Studies, Goel Educational Trust. And GIBS offers two programs, PGDM from AICT approved and BBA from Bangalore University. We have been ranked 5th best business school in this country by Times of India and 9th best B school of BBA placements again by Times of India 2022. To prepare students for success, GIBS has designed Industry 4.0 curriculum and introduced a number of unique programs such as Sports Management Certification Program, Postgraduate Program in Innovation Research and Entrepreneurship. We have GIBS Finishing School, Business Mastery Program, and so on and so forth. It gives us immense pleasure to announce that recently, we have been ranked as A++ by Business India 2022, and also been awarded as Business School of the Year South by the Outlook 2022. I would love to extend my warm greetings to Ms. Paulami Niyogi, the resource person of today's IRE talk.
Yes.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'm extremely sorry. There was a little technical glitch for that. I extremely apologize for that. And it's my honor to introduce Paulami ma'am this evening as a business and a life coach. Madam specializes in helping emerging leaders enhance their effectiveness through coaching, conversations, emotional intelligence assessment, and observation. Her focus areas include presence, executive presence, effective communication, emotional intelligence, and empathy. By fostering self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management, she helps the clients to improve their leadership and build trust. Credibility, influence, and impact in professional setting. In addition, she is also a certified digital marketer, an NLP, and a mindful instructor. She works both with the corporates and the individuals for the career development and professional excellence. Ma'am, I apologize. I'm cutting down your profile. So I'm extremely sorry for that. And I request all the participants to put your questions or doubts, anything if you have. You can put it in the Q&A section. We'll take it at the end of the session. Ma'am, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. And as I don't mind, the name itself should be enough. That is what I have learned during my MBA, that you should work in a way that people know you by your name, that what do you do. So I'm on that journey. I'll not say that I've achieved that. And welcome everyone who have joined today. Thank you for giving your time. My father always says that the time is the most expensive resource someone can give you. So for the next 45 minutes, we are going to discuss about a very interesting topic, that is mindfulness and productivity. Now, mindfulness is one of my favorite tools to work with, because in NLP and in life coaching, we use different kind of tools. But when it comes to productivity, I have seen that mindfulness is giving the most effective result to individuals. And for professionals, for aspiring professionals, for students, for homemakers, for entrepreneurs, mindfulness is something I always try to make people aware about the effective result we get out of this tool, mindfulness. So without any further delay, I want to start today's session. I'll try to share my knowledge and experience in this journey of learning more about mindfulness through my programs which I have attended, from my mentors, what I have learned from my mentors and my gurus, my teachers, and in this entrepreneurship journey. So when we talk about productivity, we all are we management professionals, people like us who are having like MBA degrees, PGDM degrees, there is always an expectation that we are going to be at the superlative degree of productivity all the time. But in the real life scenario, is it always like that? Because we are human beings and we have certain emotions that is controlling us day and night. And at workplace, we have to balance between these emotions. This can be positive emotions, this can be negative emotions, this can be a mixed bag of emotions, which is always coming and going. And yes, it consciously or unconsciously, it's controlling our productivity. So let us have a look at what we are going to discuss today. As you have already introduced me, I'm not going into my self-introduction, so skipping that slide. So this is our overall agenda: understanding mindfulness, what is daily mindfulness, mindfulness for better productivity, and we are going to have a discussion or a Q&A at the end of the session. I hope the agenda is clear. Now, when we talk about mindfulness, usually what do we visualize? We visualize a picture of meditating, wearing a very expensive yoga wear or something very expensive, sitting in an exotic location and meditating out of this world, not thinking about what is happening around. So I'm just going to share an image. I think we all relate to this. If you go to Google image and you search about mindfulness, you will see something like this. So mindfulness, it is a misconception about mindfulness that it is about like detachment from the world, going on a meditative zone, and opting things like yoga or meditation. These are the part of mindfulness, but mindfulness is beyond these three elements. Mindfulness itself is a complete tool that helps us to understand who we are. I think that is the biggest question. If you see any motivational speaker or any spiritual guru, anyone who is delivering delivering wisdom through their words on the internet or on television or on live events, what do they share? They share their realization, they share their experience, their journey. And mindfulness actually helps us all to understand this journey in a truly effective way. So mindfulness, we can say that mindfulness is a tool that helps you to connect with yourself. No matter, in a day you will be attending, when the world from like campus to corporate, there will be major difference. There will be like 100 of phone calls every day. And there will be emails you have to reply. There will be situation, there will be decision-making scenarios where you have to you have to react promptly. Without, you will not get that much of time. That is what managers do. That is why we want to become manager, because we want that power. We want that power. We want that immunity where we can react to certain situations. That is why we go through this 2 years of management program, where we learn how to react to situation, how to take effective decisions, how to save time. All of this, if we summarize all of these elements which I have talked, no, one of my professors told me that, Paulami, the outer world is ruthless. And that is something is still, etched in my mind. The outer world is ruthless because every day we are witnessing the same. So when you are expected to react in a certain way, being a manager at workplace, when you are expected to have the superlative degree of productivity, you need to understand what is going inside. People who complain about work-life balance, why do they complain? Is it just because of the work environment? Is it just because of the office politics? Is it just because of manipulative bosses? No, it is because that person is not aware what is going inside. He's not aware of his own expectations. He's not aware about his aspirations. And that is what makes his journey difficult. He doesn't find work-life balance. We all have 24 hours in a day. Then how do we follow people like Steve Jobs? Then how do we follow people like Ratan Tata, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Sudha Murthy? So these are the leaders whom I follow a lot, their philosophy, the way they have worked. So it always, I question myself that in 24 hours of time, how do they manage to do so many things? They are like Bill Gates, they are doing community service, the business is experiencing exponential growth every day. They are a figure where the people like us, people who are aspiring entrepreneurs, we idolize them. So there must be something different. And what I have learned from the leaders worldwide whom we follow, that they are aware and fully conscious about who they are. And that makes all the difference. So let us move from this misconception to understand what is mindfulness. So now the question is, if you can see the slide, that you have to ask yourself that, am I mindful, or my mind is just full of so many things? You are the best person to answer yourself. Mindfulness doesn't mean that you have to detach yourself from the outer world. You have to take leave from your work and go home and meditate. Mindfulness is better management of your own capabilities. How? The first point is being present. That is the basic of mindfulness, that who you are, where you are you physically and mentally and emotionally present at that space? Now, suppose we have around 140 participants here, and 140 participants, I really don't know how many of you are physically, mentally, and emotionally present in the workshop. I can say that I am mentally, physically, and emotionally present at the workshop, because for the last 40 minutes, what I was doing is I was texting my team and people saying that I will be busy in a workshop. I called my mother and said, do not ring me till 6:30. I'll be busy with the workshop, because I wanted to be fully present here. I had to give an emergency number to my team that if I'm not available, then who is going to take care of the company's needs? So that is how I make sure that I am present here. I'm not going to take any phone call. I'm not going to respond to any email. I'm not going to open the door, even if a person is knocking outside, because I am present here. And I want to make sure that this time, I want to give my time to GIBS, and I'm not going to do anything else. Being aware. What I need to do, I need to deliver a session. I need to talk about mindfulness and productivity. And if I talk about several other things, not mindfulness and not productivity, if I start talking about my journey, my challenges, my success, my achievements, yeah, that will speak about me. But whether that is going to do justice to today's session, no. So I have to talk about mindfulness and productivity throughout this time to ensure that I am aware of what I am yet to deliver here. You have to be conscious. I have to be conscious about who am I. I am here delivering a session as a person, as a resource person who is using this tool for a long time. I'm talking about my experience. I'm going to take some example. And being conscious here, I am not presenting myself as the founder and MD of my training company. Here, I'm not speaking as a founder of the NGO I'm running. No, I'm here speaking about one tool, mindfulness, and how that can help us to increase the productivity. My attention should go towards this session. I know there will be so many people raising their hands. Already I was reading a few questions. Someone actually asked that, is it going to help us to get a job? Is it, because people are also apprehensive that what are we are giving time. As I said, that time is the most expensive resource which you are giving to me and to this session. So people are apprehensive that what are we going to learn from this session? Like people are thinking maybe we are going to learn some meditation technique. Maybe we are going to learn something more about meditation or mindfulness. So there are a lot of questions. People are still raising hands. So I understand that there are a lot of questions. And I have to be completely attentive. I have to give my full attention to understand that what my audience is thinking, what my audience is receiving from me, and what am I delivering to them. So this is how communication, this is how we establish communication. And communication is the base of productivity. Your productivity, if you do a productivity scanning of your day-to-day productivity at work, at home, everywhere, the base is, if you take productivity as a pyramid, the base is always going to be communication. How you are communicating with your teachers at college, how you're communicating with your boss at workplace, how you're communicating with your team members at workplace, how you're communicating with your family members. So communication, positive communication and effective communication, that solves a lot of problems. And you can only communicate in the best self when you are paying attention to the other part. Even if you're talking to yourself, if you are establishing a communication with yourself, that is what we do when we meditate, or you are praying, you are trying to communicate to someone in a superior self, there also you have to pay attention. That is why we don't want to be disturbed when we are praying, or we don't want to be disturbed when we are working. Because giving attention to that moment, giving attention to that particular communication is very, very important when it comes to productivity. And mindfulness is nothing like, it's not a rocket science. It is understanding these aspects, these elements individually, and applying this into our day-to-day lives to achieve a superior quality of productivity. Next comes one most important thing, that is practice. Are we practicing mindfulness? So as I was saying, that mindfulness is all about being conscious. When you are conscious, you know the art. An artist becomes artist after years of practice. When we see Shreya Ghoshal or Sonu Nigam performing, or Arijit Singh performing live on stage, how do they manage to grab the attention of so many people without even consulting a notebook? They're singing songs one after another, because years of practice. Practice makes you perfect. There is no shortcut to it. These days, we see a lot of advertisement. Being a coach, I'm pointing this out. We see a lot of advertisement. You open YouTube, every day there are multiple workshops people are talking about, like, you can earn in crores, you can be a billionaire if you attend this workshop. How? Have you questioned yourself how before opting any program? No matter what you do, no matter who is mentoring you, who is your guide, no matter how good you are at your studies, if you're not practicing your art, then you're not going to achieve that optimal level of productivity. You might be productive. So practicing this, management, we have separate specialization, like marketing. I'm a person from marketing background. So marketing, when I work with a lot of startups and brands. So people, when they come to me for brand activation, I have to actually go through that what I'm practicing for the last 10 years. And I have to understand that what are the changes, what the way world is changing, the way marketing communication is changing, everything. And I have to practice. And when I practice and I master the art, then only I can preach that to my clients. And then I can only tell them that, okay, now you have to do this. This is the strategy, and this is how your brand is going to get a very good branding. So this is all, everything comes to practice. If you want to be mindful, if you are focusing on mindfulness, if you are focusing on your productivity, it has to be a practice. Now, you can tell me like, practice takes a lot of time every day. Yes, it takes. You have to manage your time in a certain way where you get enough time to practice the art of mindfulness, practicing listening, practicing speaking, practicing writing, practicing decision making. Everything can be practiced. Nothing is impromptu in this world. We get a chance to practice everything. There are some emails, I receive emails from my team members, there are only 3 to 4 keywords in those emails. And when I see those emails, I just ask myself, okay, what has happened to us? We are not even writing a full sentence. What are we doing with the saved time? Are we doing something very like greater than this? And I ask them that, what are you doing? You have not written a full sentence also. I understand the communication has been done. I understand what they want to speak or what they want to communicate. But is it a good practice? The answer is no. They say that I was in a hurry. I was trying to do this. I was trying to do that. And that's why I have sent a quick email to you. So maybe when you all step out of your campus and join the work, you can face similar situations. And I try to talk with real life examples. I give a lot of personal examples because, as I said, that it's a journey. I am not a mindfulness guru or a mindfulness expert. I'm also learning through my experiences every day. Why we are writing emails in 2 to 3 keywords, or we are just summarizing it within a few words? Because we don't practice writing. Once we are out of school, once we are out of our college or B school, we stop practicing writing. Writing is a very, very basic skill. Remember, go back to your school days and remember how we used to practice essay writing, paragraph writing. Those are the base which is already built from our childhood. But because of lack of practice, we can't use them optimally, and that affects the productivity. Suppose you are communicating with an international client and you are writing a full email with the greetings, with an introduction, with the body of the email and a conclusion with a wish. That person is going to have a very good impact that, okay, this particular professional has the time and patience and the skill that he is focusing on this written communication. This person is serious about business. That is how we establish communication. And as I said, going back to my statement, which I said a few minutes earlier, that communication is the key to productivity. The more you communicate from inside, your productivity is going to increase. The more your communication will be superficial, your productivity is also going to be superficial. It is not going to be a long-term achievement. Focus on long-term goals. In short terms, there will be like people, you might be very famous on the internet, you people are engaging with your content, but ask yourself that on a long term, how am I as a communicator? How am I communicating things to my stakeholders, to my family, to my people, to my bosses, or to my team members? So this is how we practice. And I always focus on practicing communication, because all the elements of the mindfulness, it's all about establishing communication. Now, motivation. Motivation itself is a complex topic to discuss. But one thing I have realized from my journey, that motivation also comes from within. No matter how much you pay for a session, no matter who is coming to motivate you, it can be someone who has achieved a lot in his life. But until and unless you motivate yourself to get up from the bed in the morning and make a cup of tea for yourself and spend some time in the nature, take care of your health, then going for your work, getting ready for your work. So everything comes from within. No guru, no speaker, no trainer can influence you the way you can influence yourself. That's the best kind of influencing I have ever felt in my life. When we grow up, when we become a professional, or when we start taking more responsibilities, we divide ourselves into different roles. That is who we do as a conscious human being, we do that. right? But then what we don't do is we don't prioritize ourselves, that who we are and how we want to live our life. Maybe your bank balance is good. Maybe you are having a very luxury car. Maybe you are having a home to stay. Yes, you have done all that for yourself. But ask yourself that what is the motivation factor that is driving you every day? Are you doing all this happily? Or is it something like you are under some social pressure, or why you are doing this? If all those things are not making you happy, and all those things are, you have achieved that all, you have achieved everything in your life what you wanted to achieve, but when you come back home from work, you're not happy. You're not happy about yourself. You're thinking that what am I doing? And you'll see a lot of people say that I want to leave my job and follow my passion. Why your passion is not your job, or why your job is not your passion? Ask yourself this thing, because a lot of people, they tell us that wow, you're following your passion, you left your job. There is nothing great in leaving a job and following the passion. You just have to understand who you are. Trust me, the journey of entrepreneurship is never easy. It is not easy. Being the CEO of the company or being the founder of the company, it sounds very good, but your salary is going to come last to you. You have to manage your finances on your own. You have to minimize on your luxuries. This is going to be a very, very hard journey if you are choosing entrepreneurship over job. But yes, end of the day, if you feel that fine, I don't have the money for going out, or I don't have the time for partying with people, I'm spending that in a networking event or something, it's okay, because that is making me happy. So understand what is your happiness factor. The world is working on happiness index. There are researchers who are working on happiness index, and there are people who are actually, researchers are, they want to know that how happy people are. So you ask yourself, before someone else come to you and ask you, are you happy? Ask yourself every day, do a mirror work and ask yourself that, are you happy with what you're doing? You will find your inner motivation, that what makes me happy. Now, if you ask me what makes me happy, really, like there is a place in West Bengal named Sundarban. That place is very, very underprivileged. It's known for Bengal tigers and crocodiles. So Sundarban, after COVID and after this, there are two cyclones. After two cyclones, there are children who have lost their parents. There are children who don't have the access to clean drinking water, and they don't have the access to education. So on most of the Sundays, I visit Sundarban. We have tried to build a school there. So I go there and I teach them ABCD, where there is no management theory is involved. I teach them music. I teach them Bangla. So there is no management theory. There is nothing complex, but it is so difficult to go back to the basic and interact with those children. But that gives me happiness. And I come back in the evening, tired, exhausted, but happy. So that is my motivation for the next week. So Monday, I wake up fresh and I go to my work, and Monday to Saturday, I devote completely myself into work to see like how my business is doing, how my people are doing, how am I doing. That is also very important. So prioritize yourself and motivate yourself. Choose one activity that really makes you happy. It can be, you can go for a walk, you can play tennis, you can read books, you can practice music, anything, but that one activity can be your biggest motivation in life. If you remember going back to our childhood, our parents used to say that, if you are a good girl or if you're a good boy, you finish your homework, I'm going to give you this, or you can watch the TV. So motivate yourself in a certain way. Be your own motivator. Tell yourself that, yes, I'm going to be the good boy or the good girl for this week. I'm going to achieve all this, and then I'm going to treat myself with something. So that is the best kind of motivation. And once you start practicing this motivation, this is obviously going to increase your productivity. And if you map your productivity, if you start taking a note, suppose how to take a productivity note. Suppose you are planning, I'll discuss this in the later part of the speech. So if you're deciding to do 10 work in one day, you have listed 10 jobs to do, and you are every day you see that, okay, today Monday I'm able to finish 5 out of it. Maybe by Tuesday and Wednesday you will reach 8. maybe on Friday, you are reaching 10 and you are doing extra 2 jobs, like extra 2 tasks. So you will see that your productivity map is, witnessing a growth. It will be an upward growth where you are achieving all that you want to achieve. And all of this can happen if you just go back to what I said, like being present, being aware, being conscious, paying attention to your thoughts, practicing mindfulness, and yes, motivating yourself. Now, coming to emotional intelligence is another topic, which is a very, very deep topic to discuss. So every day we witness a lot of emotions. We are sad, sometimes we are anxious, sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are angry. We have a lot of emotions, and emotions are, people say that I am emotional. People come to us and say, I'm very emotional. So when my boss rebuked me, I felt very bad. Or my spouse said this thing, I feel very bad. So the truth is that everyone is emotional. Everyone is emotional because we all have emotions inside. And the way we react to the outer world, it depends upon our emotions. And gaining emotional intelligence means making your emotions work in favor of you, not against you. Suppose in a scenario, you are not happy with the performance of your team member. You're very angry and you start shouting on that person. And there is a very negative communication going on. After some time, what happens? You are shouting, you have shouted, you have busted out in anger. Is it making the situation better? No. Is it causing any good to you? The answer will always be no. It is causing harm to yourself. So understanding that if something is not done in a right way, there is a better way to do it. And how can we do this better? By helping, like by, activating our positive emotions. So what you can do, you can just take your colleague for a cup of tea outside. Maybe you both can have some fresh air and ask that person that what is the problem, why you have reacted in a certain way, or why you have done this work in this way. Let us understand, let us discuss about the alternatives, what could be done. You see, you are coming up with a better solution as a manager. You see, you are coming up with a better communication, and your colleague will build a trust on you. Okay, my senior is not a person who have very less patience, and he has not reverted to me with a very like angry emotion. So that is how, again, everything is going back to communication. It is like a circle. Communication will come at every part. When we talk about productivity and mindfulness, it is about establishing a communication with yourself. The more you understand who you are inside, you can react to the outer world's challenge in a better way. Suppose you're sad, your boss denied a leave and you are sad, you're not being able to go to a hometown. It happened to all of us so many times. We Bengalis always try to get leave during Durga Puja, and in practical scenario during our corporate career, we are never like leave are never used to accept. Bosses always say no. Not all of you cannot leave the office during the you have to have a peaceful balance between your leave whatever the leave demand and your actual productivity or actual work. So we have faced this, and when we were young, not aware about ourselves, not very conscious about ourselves, we used to say that how see our boss, we always used to complain about our bosses, like he has not approved our leave, he will not understand our emotions, we need to go home, this is what we are missing out there. But when the tables turn, when I am sitting in the chair where I am managing a team of 21 people, I understand that, what I have learned from my bosses, from the leaders, actually, from the industry leaders. So this is the difference, because throughout the corporate ladder or the entrepreneurship ladder, when you will, start reaching upwards, when you will start reaching the top, you will face a lot of situations where your emotions are going to work against you. It happened to all of us. It is going to happen to all of you as well. But if you know how to handle your emotions, maybe I can take my example. Like I was in Delhi, I was working there, and my leave got denied. So I decided, let me explore the Durga Puja in Delhi, how it happens here. And it was such a beautiful experience, meeting people whom I have never met before. It was such a good experience to see that, how people there, they welcome this festival and they get involved in this festival. It's an amalgamation of the Navratri and the Durga Puja. So always try to make your emotions work in a positive way. Probably if my boss have give me that holiday, that leave, that vacation, I would have traveled back to Kolkata, spent time in a boring way, which I have been doing for throughout all of my life, and I used to go back to work. But that helped me to understand different culture, that helped me to understand people from different culture. So that is why I'm thankful for. And I luckily I have a very good relationship with all my ex-bosses. I always tell them that, boss, you have taught me so much. And this is going to be a very interesting journey when you will step out of your college campus, when you will step in the corporate world. It's going to be very interesting because the challenges are going to make you the person who you actually aspire to be. It is, if you are staying in your comfort zone, it is not going to give you your best. If you want to do best at your work, if you want to understand that how much productive you can be, it is the best thing to move out of your comfort zone. So next time you say this to someone that I am emotional, say I am emotionally intelligent. I know how to use my emotions, how to use my positive emotions, and I can help you with that. So emotional intelligence, we run separate workshops on emotional intelligence. Like it takes a lot of time, but for a basic understanding, understand that what are the positive emotions that you have and what are the negative emotions you have. If you feel that you're angry, work on your anger part. If you feel that you feel like sad, you are not happy with what is going on, work on your happiness factor. Understand that what makes you happy. Explore, travel, get out of your comfort zone. Make experiments, talk to people, meet new people, connect to your friends, but do not forget to connect to yourself, because mindfulness again and again talks about connecting to who you are and what you are. So this is the very basic concepts about mindfulness. And why do we need mindfulness while we are, because in today's world, we all have to multitask. There is no other option. Even if I'm sitting here, I know in the back end, there are a lot of things going on. I know, and that is somewhere there in my mind, no matter how much present I am in this session, there is something which I cannot deny. So knowingly or unknowingly, our brain is always working towards achieving more, aspiring more, getting more. And that is driving us to go for a multitasking. And today's world demand multitasking. Even if we say that avoid multitasking, again, unconsciously, unknowingly, we have to multitask. Multitasking leads us towards performance anxiety. So we are doing a lot of things at one time. There are women who are mothers. There are men who are fathers, son. They have their responsibility at home. They are leaders in the corporate, or they are entrepreneurs. They have multiple challenges. Everyone in this world, we are all going through a lot of challenges, and that challenges gives us performance anxiety. What happens? Performance anxiety gives us reduced productivity because we think about achieving all at one time. Performance, we are not, maybe we think that we are not good enough for this, or where we are going wrong, and we become very self-critical. We start judging ourselves that why I'm not giving a bill. My friend is doing this, my friend has got this new car, I'm not being able to book a flat, or I'm not being able to get that car. And that gives us a performance anxiety. In the office, when we see the leaderboard, in some months, employee A is going to be at the top, some months employee B is going on the top. So it is always changing. The earth is always rotating. Similarly, our thoughts are also rotating. It is never at the same place. In your mind, there are a lot of thoughts every day coming and going like sea waves. It is your responsibility to understand, to calm yourself. The waves will come, the waves will go. But what matters is at the end of the day that how much calm you are in any given situation. So mindfulness, the necessity of mindfulness coming in today's world, why do we need to train ourselves? Because a lot of people ask me, especially in international workshops, that, you people come from India. India is place for meditation and yoga, this concept of mindfulness. Then why do you have to run so many workshops for corporate people where we are training people in mindfulness? So this is my answer: multitasking, performance anxiety, which is leading towards reduced productivity. So even if in any given situation, if you are multitasking, make chambers in your brain where you are going to divide your focus. Do not focus on more than one thing at a time. That is going to be very, very dangerous. I am going to share a personal example, which is a recent example with all of you. So 2 days back, I went out of my home at 6:30 in the morning. I had to attend multiple meetings. So I quickly came back home. I decided to make a quick lunch. And while I was cooking the lunch, I got more than 7 to 8 phone calls, and I had to do 2 very urgent emails. And the end result was the phone calls were attended, the emails I have sent, but my food was completely black. It got burned. And I felt so bad about myself while I was trying to eat it. Tears came out of my eyes, and I started cursing the entire world that my parents don't stay here, my in-laws are aged, I don't have a spouse, I don't have anyone to share, I have to cook my own food. This is such a bad world. And my energy level, suddenly it went low, that I had to attend another meeting. I went for the meeting, but I was not mindful enough to understand the requirement of the client. I took a note, and when I came back and I was trying to communicate with my team, I felt that, hardly I have understood about their requirement. I quickly called the client and fixed a second meeting. That, sir, I need some clarity on certain points. I need to see you. So today morning, I did that meeting, and it was a very fruitful meeting. And at night, again, I cooked a very good meal for myself. And while eating, after eating, actually, I was introspecting that what went wrong today. I was so full of energy from the morning because I have not planned my day. I have not planned in the previous day. I was not aware that what I'm going to eat, or it was not a part of my planning. I had to suddenly come back home, and I could have ordered something, or I could have just avoided cooking by making a good salad for myself, but I opted to cook, and I messed the entire situation. And I was only responsible for it. No one else is responsible for it. When I realized this, I thought that, how much harm I have caused to myself, my emotions. It entirely, just one incident, one failure at making my own meal took me back to my past, blaming the entire world for my situation, thinking that my parents are going to come to help me, or my in-laws are going to come to help me, or my employees are going to come to help me. And that suddenly awakened the consciousness that no, I need to plan my days in a better way. I could have just given example from anyone else, but I thought of sharing this personal example because, we always struggle to get there. So understand that mindfulness is a journey. It's not something that is achieved, that can be achieved with one certification, or that can be achieved at one go. The concepts which I have just discussed, it's written the same, that it is about maintaining your moment by moment awareness of what you are thinking. Whatever you are thinking, focus on one thought at a time. Do not let your brain roam around your emotions. Just think about what you are thinking. If you are thinking about a certain project, think about it. If you want to finish a plate full of meal, think about it. If you want to drink water, drink water. If you want to dance, you dance. This is as simple as that. Accept the way you are. Do not be self-critical or self-judgmental, thinking that I am not good enough. Now, if you need to communicate yourself to understand that what is your top level of productivity. And if you have achieved that productivity in a single day, then pat yourself. Appreciate yourself. Do not wait for the world to come and appreciate. If you have done a good job, say yourself that, okay, you have done a good job. And mindfulness is something which we all possess. It is not something which you have to import from somewhere. Trust me, all of us can be mindful and productive at the same time. You just have to understand that who you are. You just have to practice a little bit more to understand that what gives you the better, like the best productivity. And the journey from good to better to best is always going to be very interesting when you become the part of your journey. No matter from outside how many speakers come and talk, and they talk about their experience, I become mindful when I think about my journey. That gives me the best kind of productivity. And of course, it is a kind of superior meditation. Meditation doesn't mean sitting under a tree and doing like omkar with the help of a noise or a very soothing music. It can be active meditation as well. I tell my, like when I talk to my homemakers, coaches, I always tell them, like, do you enjoy chopping the vegetables? They say, that what is there to enjoy? It is like my everyday job. I say, no, hear the rhythm. When the knife is touching the chopping board, have you heard the rhythm? It's a rhythm. It takes a rhythm. When you're chopping a spinach, it has a different rhythm. When you're chopping a carrot, it has a different rhythm. And after 2-3 sessions, they come back to me and say, it's a very fun activity. We have like focus, how many colors we play with it every day. So this is very simple, like understanding what job role is. You are going to be productive. And that productivity is something which is no one can take from you. Sharing some facts, because sharing this, because not to scare anyone, it is Hindustan Times has conducted a survey. So based on that, in India, like almost 60% of people, they say that they are stressed in their everyday life. 14% of India's population, they require an active mental health intervention, and 88% have reported anxiety. So you understand with these statistics that people, these are the people who need outer intervention to understand their life in a better way. And I hope, like we in this room, this 143 people, we will not come under this survey after this session, because we are going to be fully aware of who we are. And that is how we are going to manage our life in a better way. Moving ahead, like what to do, very simple. I have started like, curating very simple solutions, which I always give. Start taking your life in a less serious way. Do not be critical or self-judgmental. Repeating again, focus on day-to-day achievements. Do not, your goal is to reach that long-term aspiration, but focus on everyday practice. Prioritize your work. If you are, joining a job, or if you're running a business, prioritize that what you are going to do. Start focusing on your breathing. If you're feeling very anxious, very stressed, take a pause. Take a pause for 5 minutes and just listen to what you are inhaling and what you're exhaling. Sometimes it can happen like you're breathing too fast, your heart is pumping blood too fast. Just relax for 5 minutes. Keep yourself out of everything for 5 minutes and focus on what you are inhaling and what you are exhaling. Identify the rhythm. Identify the rhythm of your breathing. That is going to calm you down for sure. Awaken your awareness. Now, this sentence might sound very philosophical, but this is very simple. Who you are. I'm Paulami. I know who am I. I'm sure all of you know who you are. And whenever you are talking to someone, whenever you are talking, maybe it can be at work, at home, with your spouse, with your parents, with your children, awake your awareness and then talk. Listen to what the other person is saying. That is how you can awaken your awareness, and then you respond to it. Plan your days ahead so that you don't have to eat a plate of burnt food, which I just mentioned that a mistake I have done. I have not planned the other day, like what I need to eat for the next day's lunch. So I did that mistake. So plan your days ahead. Maintain a journal. In a journal, write it down. What are the tasks you want to achieve? My friends, they have given me a very funny name that like, I finish off journals very fast. So my name is Miss Journal, because they say that, there's only one gift that makes you happy, that is journal, because I write down everything. Whatever thoughts are coming, if you have your phone, just take a note out of it. You don't have to maintain a pen and paper journal also. You can write it, you can send a note to yourself, you can email it to yourself. But make sure that you write these things every day. What you want to do, what are the tasks you need to achieve, And at the end of the day, give yourself a quick 5 minutes introspection that whatever you have written, how much of you have achieved that. That is going to help you in your productivity scanning. Avoid multitasking. Again, requesting everyone, try to, even if you're not being able to avoid multitasking, at least try not to scatter your thoughts. Practice gratitude. No matter how small the reasons are, be thankful for what you are achieving. Trust me, I can tell you that if you are getting 3 principal meals every day, if you have a work, if your family is fed, you are fed well, you are lucky than the majority of the people in this country. So practice gratitude for what you have. Do not spend your time thinking that what you don't have or complaining about not achieving the things which you wanted to achieve. You are going to be one day surely, but yes, you need to understand that gratitude is going to make you complete, a sense of content. Every day, try to spend at least 5 to 10 minutes in silence. It can be in the morning after you wake up, or it can be before going to your bed. Just try to spend, talking nothing, listening nothing, just a little bit of silence around you, and see how your inner self is communicating with you. And again, practice active meditation. So if you are at work focusing on an Excel sheet, focus on that Excel sheet. That is going to be your active meditation. If you are practicing music, focus on practicing music. That is your active meditation. If you are cooking food, cook food. Do not write email and cook food together. So that is how we practice active meditation. Where you are at work, you don't have to detach yourself from work, but you are achieving your productivity. So these are the things. I'll share these slides with your team, and I hope this is going to help you. The mindful way of life is nothing. It's just to become aware of what you're breathing. Inhalation and exhalation is a very, very common mindfulness practice. So whenever you are very confused in life, nothing is coming into your mind, take a break and breathe. Focus on your breathing. This is the biggest blessing. In the morning when I wake up and I realize, okay, I'm still breathing. That's the best kind of exercise. That's the best kind of blessings I consider. Expand your awareness outward. Whatever you're thinking inside, try sharing that outward. If you are patient from inside, listen to someone with patience. If you have empathy, share that empathy with people. If you are sympathetic to someone, tell them that I'm in support of you. But don't forget to communicate. Again, communication is the basic. And create your own mindfulness regime. You don't have to, if you don't want journal, don't write a journal. If you don't want to meditate, don't meditate. But yes, you can create your own mindfulness regime. And that is probably a task for all of you. I would love all of you if you can get back to me with a activity list that what you have planned for yourself. That is going to make me very, very happy. So understand that what makes you happy and what is the kind of mindfulness activity is making you happy. So it is up to you. This was my 45 minutes, but I want to give this session to you now to understand that mindfulness in a better way. When you go back today from this session, if you have understand 1 to 2% from this session, from this communication, I would request all of you to give it a thought and create your own mindfulness activity. So nowadays we talk about the managers, especially for the managers at work, we say that it's mindful wisdom. You have to be wise and you have to be mindful. So you have to break your restrictive thoughts. You have to do your self-development. You have to work on your development every day. Your decisions should be powerful enough to influence others. And you have to build a growth mindset that no matter what the scenario is going to be in the external world, I'm going to grow from inside and I'm helping my team to grow. So that is how we create this combination of mindful wisdom, where a wise manager is mindful and productive as well. So this was my session. Thank you so much for all your patience and thank you for attending. These are my social media handles and my email ID. So you can connect to me on LinkedIn or any other social media platform. And of course, I'm always there for a discussion or a question and answer. So Sandeep sir, the session is from my side, the speech is over. Now if we can take the
Sure,
questions.
ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much. Indeed, I must say that the simplest possible language you have used to make us understand that was really amazing. And I'm sure a lot of our participants have will take away a lot of inputs from this session. So moving ahead with few of the questions, we have a lot of questions to be very frank, but we'll just pick
Yes.
it up few of them. So the first question has been asked by Mr. Ravi Kamath. He says, in the era of social media, how can we focus on social media? I think he wanted to write, how can we avoid this social media, I believe.
Social media, you have to manage your focus in a certain way. We talk about time management, but I have learned this, that you have to manage your focus. In social media, see, we all use social media. My freelancing career started as a social media manager, but I take intermittent break from social media. And nowadays, if you scroll through Facebook, you will see that Meta is sending you a message that this is all for today. You have done a lot. So you have to take that message very seriously. And I have certain, like, I can talk about myself. So I have certain time when I scroll through my social media, because, to be in the trend in the market, you cannot avoid the impact of social media. So I consume content which is going to be beneficial for me. I do not consume any random content that is coming on social media. You have an option, if some content comes on your feed and that is not relevant to you can always avoid that content, or you can just say that I'm not interested for this kind of content. So that will, after some time, the algorithm will not take those kind of content. So if you go to my YouTube playlist or my Instagram or my LinkedIn, I always try to consume things from where I can learn something. I watch recipe videos. I am into music. I listen to a music. I perform also. So I listen to everything. But yes, there are like time when I do that. I don't mix it up with my work. So when I'm working, like my phone is in a silent mode right now, in mute. I'm not going to attend my phone. I'm not going, no matter what is happening there. I have a workshop tomorrow. So they were calling me constantly. And I told them that I'll be available after 6:30. So social media can be a distraction, and social media can be your power also. So half of the things before going into certification, I have learned from social media, how to manage your focus, how to manage your time. So social media has given me a lot of things. So I'll request you, if you are finding it difficult to manage, just give it like, do a conscious scrolling. Be like awake when you are scrolling. Do not do just random scrolling. Understand what is going to give you benefit. If you are subscribed to the channels which is not serving your purpose, you can always go and unsubscribe and unfollow. So there are two options always, to follow and to unfollow. Now the choice is yours, how you want to manage your focus. I was hosting Kiran Bedi in an event, and someone asked her that, how to become an IS officer where we have so much of distraction. And it was, her simple answer was, you are creating distraction for yourself. No one is asking you to watch those social media content. So it's always, I've learned this from her, like keeping life with a very simple approach. Don't have to be like, do a very like mathematical calculation of your time management. Just avoid what is not serving your purpose. You'll see it takes 21 days of time, 21 days to build a habit. For 21 days from today, if you try unfollowing those content, you are going to be at your superior self, and you are going to consume only what is serving your purpose.
Great, ma'am. Well, we'll just take up the next question. I'm sure they have got how to use the social media henceforth. So they would avoid subscribe and unsubscribe timely so that they can manage the media
Absolutely.
in the right way. So the next question has been asked by Maina Kare. Ma'am, I am from West Bengal. My question is, how does mindfulness help productivity? I think you've already answered this part of the question, but if you can just summarize it once again, ma'am.
Moinak, I have tried to share a few points. And again, mindfulness is a very deep concept. So understanding mindfulness, it's again, I said that it's a journey. I myself, I'm also going through this journey to understand mindfulness in a better way. But whatever I have shared, like 3-4 basic things: prioritizing your quality of life, prioritizing your aspiration, and understanding your inner self. These are the three things I think that is going to affect your productivity. The day you're aware of who you are going to get all the answers. And that is what, Gautam Buddha, if you talk about like mindfulness and how it has helped the people to reach their productivity or the success. If you know about Gautam Buddha, if you know, you're from West Bengal, you know Ramakrishna Dev, these, Swami Vivekananda, they were all aware and they knew that what they want to do in their life. And that is what make them great leaders. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. So absolute clarity, that is what mindfulness is going to give you. And that is going to help you to increase your productivity.
Great. Thank you so much for that, ma'am. We'll just take up, we'll take a couple of questions more because there are a lot of questions which is already scrolling in. So engineer, I think ER Ramkumar asked, hello, I've completed my civil engineering. I'm unable to understand what should I do now? Should I have for a higher education or I should start my own business? Can you tell me how can I decide? I think it's a general question moreover about himself.
Yes. So see, the decision, like there is always a dilemma, remembering my literature background, to be or not to be, quoting Shakespeare. So you have to understand that, which way you will be, because if you think that you want to be an entrepreneur, it is always suggested to gain some experience from a job, because entrepreneurship is a hard journey and there will be no one to guide you around. Trust me, in this process, there are times when I feel that, I was very, very comfortable when I was doing my corporate job, because I always had a boss to go and ask what's next. But in this entrepreneurship journey, my team comes to me and they ask me what to do the next. So if you have no work experience, understand that, you need to understand a little bit more about the external environment, how the trend is working, how the market actually works. And for that, I think job is the best training you can have. Work under a good leadership for a few years, then opt for your business. That is going to give you the clarity of decision making. Being the CEO of your company, the hardest part will be the decision making. And to understand and gain that wisdom, I think that is going to help you if you are working under some good leader for a few years. Then you can opt for your business. And business is something you can always, through a side hustle, you can start from a smaller scale and you can build your business. So that is up to you and your capability, your aspiration, how you want to take this forward. So that is how you can do. But my suggestion is to get some experience from the job. Then you can always go for a successful business.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that, ma'am. The next question has been asked by S. Giridhar. Hello, being in the present is a great challenge. How to quit in the chatter in our mind? I must say most of them would be fighting with this thought. They can sit quiet, but again, they'll be fighting with the thought process in the mind.
Date, I don't know if I can ask that question. So when you go on a date, what happens? On the other, you start knowing about the person who is sitting on the other side, their choice, their likings, their dislikings. So take yourself out on a date more often and understand what you like. The chatter will stop. When you are going to focus on one person, the chatter is going to stop. So when you are going on a date, it is like, you have only one person on the other side to talk. So identify yourself as your own date. Date yourself more often. Ask yourself what is going on inside. The chatter will stop immediately. Once you know that what sort of communication you want to establish with yourself, all that external chatter is going to go. So date yourself. That is the solution. I can give it to you. Take yourself out on a very good date. Treat yourself with good food and drink and, go in the mood and talk to yourself that who you are. You don't need anyone else to stop the chatter. Yourself is enough. So dating yourself is the idea of stopping all that like conversation which is going on around.
Great. I am sure they'll start dating themselves to make it very, very specific. So, all right, we'll take up the last question, ma'am. This has been asked by Deependra Mathuria. Connection on people, on emotional, appreciate in boss, good day self-emotion, multitasking, understand all field, skill, knowledge, existing all field success in any place. I think we'll have to understand this question in a
I think
much
he was
better way.
summarizing what he got from this session because the question is not very clear. But I think, yeah, that is like what I tried to communicate on. Focus on the communication, be it your boss. And remember one thing, this is a very small thing probably. Nothing is permanent in this life. So the person is your boss today. You know, like one of my teachers, one of my guide, he's working with me in my company as a trainer right now. And you know, at one point of time he was my teacher. I used to like, you know, see like, okay, this person is my teacher. So it is always a changing scenario, nothing is permanent. So my bosses, like I used to work in a financial leading financial house, and my bosses, we like one of my like ex bosses, we are working as partners in some projects right now. So always there is a change. Do not think that your boss is going to be your boss for the rest of your life. He is also a human being. He has also gone through all those challenges. It is never easy for anyone. So if you are having a difficulty, try to understand and try to establish a communication. Be a go-getter, you know, you start the communication and see how beautiful this journey is going to be. I never knew, like few years back also in 2017, 18, I never knew that I'm going to have like this kind of work, and they keep on referring my name, that we have seen Paulami as a employee and now we are seeing her as a business owner. So that is the kind of trust and relationship I have established with them, because I have always worked with people with a very open mind. So work with an open mind so that, you know, in future also you can gain insight, you can gain knowledge, you can gain support from your colleagues, from your bosses, from your seniors. So this is a very simple world. We only make it complicated. We have to think in a simple way. So declutter, if there is any clutter going on in your mind, immediately declutter that and get the clarity. You will gain that productivity and success. This is like, take my word, the clutter creates a lot of confusion. So declutter your thoughts. You're going to gain that confidence and that productivity.
Great, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And I must say that, yes, as you rightly said, keep it simple. So let's not get into too many things. Don't take yourself very, very seriously. Just keep it simple. I'm sure the solution is right in front of you. Only thing is we need to change our perspective so that the more simpler we are, the solutions are right in front of us. Right. So I must thank you so much, ma'am, once again. At my heartfelt gratitude towards you for sharing your thought process and knowledge. It has really helped all of us being a part of this wonderful IRE talks. And on behalf of the entire GIBS family, I would love to extend my gratitude to Ms. Paulami Niyogi for helping us in understanding much better on mindfulness as well as on the productivity part. Thank you so much for sparing your time with us, ma'am. Thank you so much. I would also like to thank all the participants for being such an active and sportive participants who have been always with us through all our IRE talks. So it's my heartfelt gratitude to all the participants once again. And a small announcement that certificates of this webinar will be shared with you within the next 2 working days on your registered email IDs. And our next IRE talks is on how to be super productive with zero stress, as something related to the similar topic of today's. So how to be super productive with zero stress by Ms. Rutuparna Sharma, who is an author, storyteller, as well as founder of RS Ventures. That's on 7th of February and 5 p.m. is the as usual time what we have. So before moving out, we would love to tell that Paulami ma'am is really very, very active on the social media. You just put her name, I'm sure, as she rightly said, the name itself is a brand. So she is a brand. I must say, you can follow her all on the social media. You can also follow the social media handles of GIBS to stay updated. And we would love to welcome you all to experience the state-of-art facility of GIBS. So we would love to welcome you at GIBS campus. Thank you so much, Paulami ma'am, once again. And thank you everyone for being such a nice audience, always as usual. Thank you so much once again.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Pleasure having you, ma'am. Thank you so much.